name is Oshun. On this channel, we uncover the creepiest, most unusual haunted TikToks the internet has to offer for entertainment purposes. Y'all are my soul tribe. Tribe is with a Y because the Y is for you. And that's because I love you so freaking much. I love you. I appreciate you. I do not take your time for granted, honey, for whatsoever, okay? I do not. I appreciate y'all being here with me every Sunday and Thursday. So please like, comment, and subscribe to the Soul Tribe for your weekly dose coming to you every Sunday and Thursday. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I know I be going crazy with the faces, okay? I can't help it. I be happy as hell. I don't know about you, okay? I am not a miserable ass bitch. Anyway, I love y'all. Let's get to this video.
I've been trying to tell y'all, the forest is alive. Watch this. Watch this.
You heard her. It hurt. Causing pain.
It's bleeding. That looks like blood. You can't tell me the forest isn't alive. It's just a plant, right?
I talk to the plants, I talk to the trees, I talk to the grass,
Weird.
I talk to the wild
Very
things.
strange.
I'm not talking to that. It's a
Tell me that
hell
doesn't
no
look like
for
a
me.
human being. It's been sucked into that tree. Somebody explain this. Stay weird, y'all.
They ain't weird, it's nature, y'all.
Y'all know a point in time that there was people who nobody know of. They
energy,
would go to
y'all.
random workplaces and drop off certain tapes. There was this one tape that was dropped off next to this blockbuster. Well, in front, directly in front of the blockbuster. They dropped the tape off and they left. These workers noticed it and they went out to pick up the tape. Being so curious, like probably every human would have been, they went in the back to go look at this tape. And they knew that it was a 40-minute video of a lady, hanging from the stall. And all you can see is half of her face, staring and heavy breathing for 40 minutes straight.
I don't want to see it. It's going to be a fuck no for me. The fuck? Ew. I'm not looking. You can look at that shit.
Nobody could understand what this meant. Nobody could understand why did they do this. Other people thought that maybe it was a man that committed a murder in his bathroom, chopped this person's head off, and made it look like this person was just staring under a stall. Because it was actually the person holding the camera, you can hear the heavy breathing. Then there was more theories that maybe this person was alive and they just couldn't blink at all. They were stuck staring, and their body, you couldn't see it, but behind closed doors was taped against the bathroom stall. That's when you ask yourself, how could somebody be alive and stare upside down for 40 minutes straight? Well, maybe this person was drugged, we don't know for sure. Maybe it was all just a joke and this video was edited in a loop. Regardless, this tape was scary. Many people receive tapes. Like I said in the beginning of this story, there's people who just drop tapes off at stores in random spots, and some people just see them and pick them up and being so curious want to watch it. Like this one guy who got this tape at a store. It said surprise on it with a smiley face. He put it in and he had a static on the TV immediately. Now when he seen this, he got scared because this is around the time the movie Ring was very, very popular. And you know, you have that static, then you have that person that pops up, and then this is when you have 7 days to live.
7 days.
7 days. Once you see her story, you have 7 days to live.
And then you would die. So he was getting flashbacks immediately around the time he seen this tape and put it in. So he sat there, he watched the static, he still sat through it.
You pop it into the VCR, what do you see? And I'm like, really? It's this?
When the static was over, this played. Yeah, this ended off good, but there are some people who find tapes and it's so creepy that you can't even put it on the internet.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm recording this for proof because this picture just changed. No one else here believes me that there's some really weird...
Okay, this is not real, but they have good AI. Like, they make good, scary stuff. But this ain't real. But it's probably gonna scare the fuck out of us, though. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that, though.
Alex? Alex, there's somebody by the door. Are you here? Huh? Huh? Where is everybody? What the fuck?
We only 5 minutes in, okay? No. Don't open the door.
This is a message from Kodak. This is not a test. A warning has been issued for all citizens of Madison County, effective until 7 a.m. August 5th.
They are a great creepy creator.
Lock your doors and keep your windows closed. You may experience some unexplainable physical anomalies. This may include, but is not limited to, objects changing locations, duplicate objects appearing, or pictures changing and trying to blend in with everything else. If you see what you believe to be a distorted human being or flawed impersonator,
He like, wait a minute, that's the picture in my house.
stay inside and hide quickly.
That's a cute little house.
What is going on here?
Would you make a ceiling a mirror in your house? That would be creepy, right? I wouldn't do that shit. That's better. Make your ceiling a mirror? Yeah. Put mirrors on your ceiling. The whole ceiling, not just above your bed. And not even in your bedroom. And like the living room, how that was. Your living room, dining room, kitchen area. So everything that would be so creepy. This is taking too long.
What is this?
into a different dimension of his home. I said that funny. It was home. Bruh. If it's taking too long, clap your hands. If it's taking too long, clap your hands. If it's taking too long and you really want to speed it up, if it's taking too long, clap your hands. But we watching it, okay? I'm gonna be patient. Be patient with me. Thank you. Oh shit! My bad. That scared me a little bit. Foundfootage.us.
This is Anneliese Michel. A real recording from her exorcism will be played at the end, so I'm just giving you a warning right now.
This is the shit, right?
Anneliese lived in Germany with her parents Anna and Joseph, and they were extremely religious. Anna had extreme religious practices like making her children sleep on the hardwood floor in the winter. It was her belief that others couldn't atone for their own sins, so therefore her children had to suffer on their behalf. Then, in 1968, when Anneliese turned 16, she began to have her first incidents. Anneliese would wake up in the middle of the night with a heavy pressure on her chest, and she couldn't breathe. She also couldn't move, and this incident would completely terrify her. Anna's parents would take her to the doctor, where she was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy. A few years later, Anneliese would get extremely sick with pneumonia and tuberculosis. Because of this, she had to spend weeks isolated in a sanatorium. This was a type of medical facility used before the discovery of antibiotics. When Anna got back from the sanatorium, her parents noticed that her personality had completely changed. Anna began to hear voices that would tell her she was damned to rot in hell. She would see demonic faces everywhere, and she developed an aversion to religious objects. She especially disliked crucifixes and pictures of Jesus, and she would not look at them. During this time, she kept going to the doctor, and they would give her every medication under the sun, which would quiet down the symptoms, but they would never fully go away. This is when people started to think that she was possessed. As things continued to worsen, the family finally got a priest to perform an exorcism, and at this time, her symptoms were terrible. Anna would throw herself onto her knees 400 times a day into a praying position. She would do this until she broke both of her kneecaps and ripped her tendons. She began eating the heads of birds, eating spiders, drinking her urine, and speaking in Latin to curse God. Latin is apparently the native tongue of all demons. Renz would perform a total of 67 exorcisms, each of them lasting from 1 to 4 hours. It was here that he learned that there are 6 demons possessing her. One of these demons claimed to be Lucifer himself. Now, quick warning, I've compiled the most insane clips from the exorcism, and here it is.
I don't want to hear it. So, I turned it down. I don't want to hear that shit. Nope. Don't receive none of this freaking energy. And, you don't receive it either. I gotta turn it down. I can't hear shit. Nothing. No, turn it down. Turn it down. Turn it down. You shouldn't even be hearing me right now. Just, you know. The fuck? So, hell no. No. We don't receive none of this energy. No, we do not. that I receive. I love every single one.
So I went to a psychic.
I ain't hear none of that.
The most demonic thing ever.
I ain't want to hear it.
So for those of you that don't know me, quick backstory: Jesus radically saved my life over the past like 6 to 9 months. My life has completely changed, and it's all glory to God. So before my walk with Christ, was trying to find anything to make me happy, because if you don't have Jesus in your life, nothing will ever fulfill you. No car, no money, no job, no relationship, no crystals, no anything will fulfill you. So I was somebody, I've always been interested by witchcraft. So I was not super deep in it, but I liked crystals, I liked astrology.
It's not witchcraft,
I liked all that new age kind of stuff. I was really interested by it. So my dad died when I was younger, and I wanted to find any way to connect with him to try to heal certain parts of myself that needed to heal. So in order to do that, I decided to seek out a psychic. And let me preface, it was the most depressing and anxiety-ridden time of my life. So when I went in to see her, she's a very fun, happy, like excited energy. Like you can't help but just be like drawn into her. And now that I look at this from, when I was going, I didn't think anything of it. But when I'm looking at it from the perspective of now knowing that what that is and what you're truly inviting in with a situation like that, I thank the Lord that he saved me. So when you walk in, she's lighting sage. There's like all these candles. Like it feels very, looking back on it, it looks very like ritualistic. He invites you in, the sage is going, she's saging you as you're walking back to the room, and then you sit back in a room with her and you close the door. And I just remember there being a lot of pictures on the walls of different things that I didn't really know what it was, but I was just so focused on her. Your energy is just so like, you're enthralled with her energy. There's something about her that's just so like magnetizing. He opens with, let's say a prayer together. And in my head, because I've always believed in God, but I never knew who he was. I've never had a relationship with him until now. So when she opened it up with, let's say a prayer, I'm like, okay, cool. Like we're just saying a prayer, like no big deal. When I tell you the things that started coming out of this woman's mouth is a language I've never heard before. She was speaking in tongues in a demonic way. The things that she was reciting, the only other time that I've ever heard anything like that is when I have a dream where I encounter a demon, and I've heard that same type of, not like, because you can't even make sense of what she's saying. So she opens with this prayer, and it's the energy in the room completely shifts. And then as she's praying, her eyes roll in the back of her head. I watch this woman's eyes roll in the back of her head. So as we're going through, she knew things about me that nobody knows. And in my head, I'm thinking she's connecting with my dad. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. She knew things about my dad. My dad passed away when I was about 8 years old. But she knew things about my dad that nobody but me and my father knew. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like she's connecting with me. No, it's a demon. Demons study us. They know exactly what to say to us. They know exactly how to connect with us. They know exactly what we need to hear. She knew about tattoos on my body. I was completely covered. Like she knew about tattoos on my body that you could not visibly see. When you are going to a psychic, you are coming into agreement with literal demons. And the only way I knew this, or the only way I know this is now, is because of my walk with Christ. I didn't know back then. And just so you know, experimenting with, if you look to the Lord, your sins are forgiven. He wants you to look to him. And I promise you the peace that he brings surpasses all knowledge. At the end of it too, she's telling me, I think you have gifts. I want you to come back. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to do Reiki over you, all these things. When you start in a new age spiritual enlightenment, when you're playing with crystals and tarot cards and astrology, which astrology is demonic as well, but that's a whole nother video, a whole nother topic of conversation. But when you start looking to different things, it is never enough. that crystal that you buy, those tarot cards that you buy, that psychic that you see, that Reiki that you go to do, nothing is ever enough. You are constantly chasing that next high, because nothing will ever fulfill you like the love of Jesus Christ that surpasses all knowledge. So if this is something that you are playing with or you have played with, stop. Stop coming into agreement with these things. I am telling you, the most depressed that I've ever been in my entire life is when I was playing around with these things, when I was inviting demons into my life, when I was inviting these spiritual entities to attach to me, when you are coming into agreement with these things that you are idolizing. So be very careful what you surround yourself with, your ear gates and your eye gates. Be very, very careful to the things that you are surrounding yourself in your life, and the things that you are bringing forth into your life, and the things that you are coming into agreement with. And I hope you have an absolutely blessed day, and stay safe out there.
Let me give y'all a story time about a time that I encountered what I believe to not be a real person. And when I say not a real person, I believe that this person was not amongst the land of the living, or I don't know. I don't think that she was a real person. So I think that she was an entity, or there was an entity inside of her. And so let me explain myself. If you don't believe in a supernatural realm or a realm outside of what you're living in now, then this video might be hard for you to grasp. So maybe about April. It was April. I had been going through a lot. I had been really sick, in and out of the hospital, just battling a lot. And I felt like I was like under spiritual attack, because every time I went to the hospital, they were having trouble finding things. You know, it was just like a lot of back and forth. And it was just like, the attack was so great. I felt like it was just not of this realm. Like, you ever go through something so crazy, so traumatic, that you're like, God, this don't even make no sense. The stuff that's happening don't even make sense. Like, that's where I was at that point in my life. So this one particular night, I had been having some issues. I had been in and out of the hospital, but I was feeling better. But my mom came down to stay with me. She came down from out of town to be with me. So I was coming from work, and I worked out of town. So I was like maybe 3 hours away, and I was finishing up a contract. So this particular night, I was on my way home, and I called my mom. I was like, hey, do you need anything from the store before I get home? Because I got to pass the store anyway. Now, this store by my house, at that point, I had never been inside of the physical store, but I would always get gas at the pumps, like, because they have tap to pay. So I never had to physically go in. But this night, my mom was like, no, it's fine. And she was like, well, you know what? You can stop and get me such and such. So I pulled up to the store. When I pulled up, I immediately noticed that it had to be about almost 10 o'clock at night. There was not a lot of people in the store. There was the clerk. There was one person at the counter playing lottery. And there was myself. And then there was a young lady in the store. Now, I went up to in my mind, I was like, well, let me scan the store and see if there's anything that I would like. Like, if I see a snack, I'm going to get it. So I just did a quick little 1-2 throughout the store. I didn't see anything. I was already tired from driving. So I turned around from the cooler to get ready to make my way toward the checkout counter. And in the aisle behind me, maybe about 5 feet away from me, there was a Caucasian girl. And when I turned around to her, she was facing me. She had nothing in her hands. She didn't appear to be shopping. I can't even put an age on her, guys. You know how normally you can guess about a person's age, or maybe generalize them and say she was a young girl, she was an older lady, she was middle age. I couldn't put age on her at all. When I turned around to her, when I turned around to look at her, she might have been about my height. She had shoulder length, strawberry blonde hair. Like, it was like it wasn't strawberry blonde. It was the reddish brown looking hair. It was about right here. And her face was ghostly pale. And I'm not one to judge off appearance, because I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for a long time. So I know that there are illnesses that can affect a person's appearance. This was not like that, y'all. This was nothing like I had seen before. She was the color of this binder. Her face was the color of this binder, but not in a skin textured way. Her face had a kind of almost textured look, like a flaky, floury, ill look. But that wasn't it. That wasn't what did it. When I turned around, she said, we locked eyes. Okay, when I turned around, we locked eyes because she started speaking to me. Her head was positioned in a very unnatural way. She was like, you're so pretty. And when we locked eyes, my heart dropped. I had a feeling of dread, of fear that consumed me. And she was giving me a compliment, but everything about her gave unnatural. Everything about her gave unreal. Her head that was tilted to the side like this, the way it cocked this way when she spoke to me, her face was pale. It looked like she was sick. Her lips were like a strawberry, like a cherry red. Her eyes were like a greenish brown. But it was everything about her body movements, everything about her tone, everything about the way she looked at me that scared me. My heart dropped, y'all. And I'm gonna tell you exactly who she looked like. I don't know if you guys remember the movie The Exorcist, the original one. She looked exactly like the little girl that was sick in that movie. And I don't watch scary movies. I don't bring scary movies to my house. This is a movie that I saw as a child that I probably watched with my cousins growing up. That's how I was able to identify. And so I said, thank you. And I made my way to the counter. When I went to the counter, she didn't continue. I don't even know what she did behind me. I made my way to the counter and I checked out. I got in my car and I was so scared, y'all. I turned around and checked my back seat. I looked in the back seat. This is how scared I was. And as I'm backing out of the parking lot, you know, the convenience stores, they have glass panes. So I'm driving really slow, looking like to see, is she checking out? And I saw her sweatshirt briefly in the store, but I didn't see it anymore. Like, and then I looked at the cars, like, I'm trying to make sense of this. I'm looking at the cars, like, what kind of car could this young old lady be driving? Like, because she wasn't old enough to where she was just hanging out in the convenience store. She wasn't hanging out. There was nobody. It's not a convenience store where people loiter. She wasn't young enough to just be in there just doing nothing. She would have had a purpose. But I never saw her anymore. Like, I saw her sweatshirt, but then it's like she turned around from the counter again. But y'all, when my husband called me, I said, can I tell you something? He said, what? I said, I think I just saw a spirit. I said, everything in me feels like she was not real. I said, in the energy shift that I felt when I locked eyes with her, I'm terrified. I was scared driving home. When I got to my house, I told my mom about it, and my mom immediately said, she said, Neek, she said, that wasn't a person. She said, that was a spirit. She said, and if she was a real person, God allowed you to see the spirit that was operating in her, or a demonic entity that was in her. Pause, y'all. I told y'all that I had been battling a sickness that month. So that morning on my way to work, I was listening to my prayer, my worship. I was listening to a sermon. And at the end of it, I was praying and I was asking God to reveal to me what was going on around me. And I said this prayer, like, reveal to me the spirits inside of people, like allow them to expose themselves, you know, just because I just wanted clarity about the people that I was around and that was in my space, because I was just going through so much. Fast forward to this encounter, I had forgotten that I even prayed that prayer until my mom brought it back to me. She was like, and if it was a person, God maybe just allowed you to see the demonic entity that was operating on that person. Y'all, I don't know if y'all believe me or not. I don't know if y'all have ever experienced this or felt this way or not. Listen, everything in me tells me that I didn't encounter a real person, that she was not a real person. That was a spirit, that was an entity, that was something that God had allowed me to see with my spiritual eyes. The fear that I felt, the dread that I felt when I locked eyes with her, I looked at her, my heart dropped. I immediately felt panicked. I felt scared. I felt like, this ain't right. She ain't right. Her body movement was very unnatural. Her hips like this. She said, you're so pretty. And her head.
I know, it's not funny. It's not funny.
Her voice. She didn't look young enough to possess a voice that sounded so childlike. You're so pretty. That's how she spoke. I definitely believe that everybody walking the street with us is not amongst us. Let me know if y'all have ever experienced anything like that. But that's just my story.
Yes, ma'am. I need to clean that rug. That thing dirty as heck.
In 2019, body cam footage surfaced of police responding to a call to a vacant house after the neighbors claimed a dark-haired figure entered the home. Now the neighbors knew that no one lived there, so they called the police. This is because a murder had happened there just weeks prior, when Chris Watts took the lives of his pregnant wife and 2 daughters. And ever since his arrest, the house sat vacant. Now the deputies knew the history of this home and assumed someone broke in for an easy robbery. And as they began to approach the home, they noticed that the garage lights are already on. So they decide to start their search there, and you can tell by their demeanor that they're uneasy.
Come see where you're at, we'll come out to the garage. Frederick Police Department, anybody in the garage? Frederick Police Department, make yourself known!
There's no way to get in, like, in the top or anything?
I don't see any access. Just no access points.
Is it sealed off from the top on that side? Yeah, never mind.
By the time they reach the garage, it appears the lights are off, so they look for any entry points the intruder may have used. So while this deputy checks the kitchen, the others investigate upstairs.
Right there. Shut up. Blue coming out.
You can see the officer almost seems nervous as he keeps guard in front of the kitchen. But more importantly, I want you to take note that the officer opens the closet to check for intruders, but then closes it right after. Because this will be an important detail in the next clip as the officers are getting ready to leave after clearing the entire home.
Like vents like those that are big enough that maybe they open and go like that.
Let's go clear upstairs.
No, let's go.
Frederick Police Department, anybody upstairs? Frederick Police Department, anybody upstairs? Make yourself known! You guys want to cover me? I'll grab the gate.
I'll hold down here.
Did you see it? Because as the officer pans the body cam, it looks like the closet is opening entirely on its own. Now whether this is paranormal or not, this has led many people to believe that this house is haunted. And it should be noted that Chris Watts was given 5 life sentences and has gone on record saying that every night in his jail cell that he's haunted by the spirits of his family. But as always, let me know what you think.
Piece of shit.
The live footage of the man they call Leatherface. Trigger warning. The officer goes inside Leatherface.
This is the only known image of Thomas Hewitt, the man they call Leatherface.
Okay. And that's what happened. Well, that was a good video. That was a little spooky, if you know what I mean. A little creepy, okay? We had to protect our energy in this one. But stay prayed up. Stay happy. Stay glad. Stay, joyful. And whew, protect your energy, okay? Because that was spooky. But yeah, we got our spirit guides who mean us well, who take care of us, protect us, and guide us. The universe, most high divine spirit, okay? And yeah, ancestors as well. But that was creepy. That was creepy. Anyway, y'all, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I do not take it for granted whatsoever. I'm gonna get y'all on the flip side. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all already know who to give it to. Everybody that you know, whether you want to fight them, fuck them, feed them, or just be kind to them, because they need to see this joy, and it's free, and it's a nice gesture. Be nice. All right, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all, and I'm outie. Ashay.